Just like financial debt, it is possible to get into emotional debt, where that we build up this unprocessed store of emotions, and we just put our heads down and we keep trucking through life. And we all know we do it. It's easier on so many levels, and as long as you can do it, it's definitely easier. It's just that like sometimes emotions build up too high, and then what do you do? And that's something I've been through. A decade ago, I had this whole personal, I mean, for lack of a better term, mental breakdown. Um, there is a better term. It's called a major depressive episode. And what I did was like I had just not dealt with anything, all of my childhood emotions, um, and then a bad marriage, right? And I never liked who I was, and I just ignored my feelings. And what that led to was too many feelings, and I kept stuffing them in my feelings sack, and to the point that it exploded. And it kind of it stole years from me. It stole years from me. And what I had to do was I had to work really hard at processing my emotions. I quit my job after got divorced, quit my job, got a minivan, um, lived in it, and I was out in Oregon living in this motel, and it was like right at the foot of Mount Hood. And every night before I went to sleep, I'd cry for an hour. And every morning when I woke up, I'd cry for an hour. And I'd think about all the things that I'd been through and how I'd been treated wrong by people that should have been better to me. And the fact that I hadn't honored myself through any of it by processing that. And from then on, I've tried. And it's not like there's a hard turning point. I mean, it took about 6 weeks, I'll be honest. It took about 6 weeks. And I stopped crying every day, twice a day, you know? But I'm glad I did because I'm lighter and I'm cleaner from it. And I work real hard to process things as I move through them. You know, there's a Buddhist distinction between pain and suffering. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is not. And the suffering is effectively like when I try to, I'm hurt by what's happening to me, and I'm also hurt by the fact that it's happening to me. And it's going to hurt, whatever the situation is. It's going to hurt. But if I'm also hurt that it hurts, right, I'm adding layers onto it. And so I've worked on radical acceptance as an example. Like, I may not like something, but it's happening, so here we are. Whatever happy means to you, you can't think yourself to it. You have to feel yourself to it. And that involves processing your emotions. And there's greater benefits on the other side. Number one, I'm not carrying those emotions. Um, it's nice to set things down. It's nice to be able to move on and be like, well, you know, it sucked, but I worked through all of it. I felt it. And you have to honor the feeling. Basically, processing the emotion is to feel it. And it's not to like break down. I mean, if you need to like get on the floor and cry, like absolutely by all means, been there. But for the most part, it's just to acknowledge the fact that that feeling exists and try to figure out why. And you know what? Even if you can't figure out why, like, okay, emotions are a billion something year old mechanism for controlling animal machines. You don't have to process the fact that there's a shark chasing you. You can feel scared of danger and go hide. And that's why America, in the modern world, although I don't know very much about the rest of the world, to be perfectly honest, as far as the experience of it is concerned, um, we generate emotional dysregulation and dysfunction because we prioritize efficiency and effectiveness. And I love efficiency and effectiveness. That's why I say the words like, that's my jam. But emotions have to be felt, they have to be processed. And it does take some level of experience with it. Um, you have to look at it honestly for what it is and recognize that it happened. Like a whole lot of people not processing emotions is because we don't want to finally admit that a thing happened, or we don't want to let go of a like defining tragedy. I have a defining tragedy as an adult, and that I didn't get to spend the time with my son that I wanted to. And so I did a ritual recently where that I was out for a drive and there was a pretty river and I stopped by it and talked to it. I don't like to like throw rocks into the river necessarily. Like, okay, I can't skip rocks, so whatever. So I just talked to it. And before I left that place, because my son and I have a good relationship now, and I don't want to carry the weight anymore. And that's what I really gain because a whole lot of my core life concepts come down to how I'm going to feel as I'm dying or when I'm approaching that point or whatever. If I get the opportunity to think about stuff or if it just happens instantly, I'm sure I will have thought about it a lot along the way. And basically, when I die, I want to die light. I want to die having fought all my demons. It's a common turn of phrase. We talk about fighting our demons, our monsters, the battles. And that's what it is. That's why it's important to deal with our emotions because those are the battles. It is against ourselves and against the things we carry. And you've got to shed that weight so that you can live the life that you're supposed to. And that's why I'm trying to shed the weight. And that's why I do whatever processing it takes. I get quiet every week or two at night when it's just me awake in the house. Turn everything off. Don't necessarily sit in the dark. But I just check where am I as a person? What feelings am I carrying that I need to work on? When I feel struck by a feeling, I try to acknowledge it. You can at least see it happening. Mindfulness is a concept I learned in therapy. I can see that there's a feeling here and acknowledge it. I don't necessarily have to dive into it. And that's the first part of it, like to acknowledge it. You have to process it and integrate that experience in. And then you'll be special on the other side. Because you're going to be the person fighting your battles. It's beautiful. Good luck.